Okay, I hope we're live. Let me just put my glasses on. Okay, it says live. So we have started. Um, so welcome. My name is Diana Marchand, and I'm from dianamarchand.com and Raw Foods Made Simple. And welcome to the second video in the video series that I'm doing, What to Eat, Think, and Do to Lose Fat, Gain Energy, and Live a Healthier, Happier Life. And this webinar series is mainly geared for women 45 and over. Now, you can be in your 40s too. It doesn't matter. You can be any age, because the information I share really has to do with anybody wanting to get healthy, get their food in check, get their mindset set in check, and also look at what actions that they need to take. So in the first video, which was really focused around the food, what to eat, which was the first video, I also shared with you some things that if you are a woman in middle age, like I know I hate that word too, but if you're a woman in your mid to late 40s, some of the changes that your body could be going through. That stage is called perimenopause. So we really talked about, I also took time to talk about the hormones, what perimenopause is, what menopause is, the changes that go on in your body that do affect how you look, think, the things you do, how you physically look, how you emotionally feel, all of those things. So if you haven't watched the first webinar, then I highly recommend it. So I hope that you will get the replay to the first webinar too. So welcome to the second webinar on what to think. Mindset. This is a very important topic. Mindset is something I actually love to talk about. And a lot of health eating plans you go really deal with the what to eat. They give you the eat, like, the 10-day cleanses stuff, but they don't really go into a lot of mindset. And that's why I've chosen to, from now on in, really work on a lot of the mindset, the mind stuff, the ways you need to think to really lead a healthier, happier life. So my story a bit. I told you about my story and my eating journey, my food journey in the first part of the video, in the webinar number 1. And in this webinar, it is focused on mindset. So although I do not have much problem with a mindset of healthy eating or even healthy living, I do have mindset issues in other areas. And my dog just had to come up for a second. There he is, Bailey. I've been so busy, he's completely lacking attention right now. He'll settle down. I do lack, of course, mindset issues in other areas of life. So it's just because we've mastered one thing does not mean we've mastered all aspects of our life. And that's why I really love helping women with their eating and their lifestyle. So really the mind, body, and the spirit, because health is holistic. It involves all of that, right? And the mindset techniques you use in one area of life where you're very successful, they can roll over and you can start bringing them into other aspects of your life that you really need to work on. So my mindset, like I said, although it's not, but really on healthy eating, I do and have developed a healthy eating mindset. So it took me working on it, on living it, on doing it to develop so that all those things now are habits. And that's really what it takes to continue and be successful, is that you've developed these habits, these ways of thinking that keep you successful and on track, right? So the way I think about healthy eating and living allows me to continue to be successful at it. It's because the way I think about it, the words I use, the thoughts I think, the actions I take, right? So it's really important that you work on all of those aspects. And the way I think about mindset for me is what would be some of the consequences of me not living a healthy eating, like not having healthy eating or living a healthy lifestyle. Because for me, some of the things that are really important for me are freedom, my freedom and independence, to have freedom of choice so that I can choose to do various things. If I want to go in and do a running race, if I want to do a biking, if I want to go hiking one day, if I want to maybe years down the road, if I want to travel a lot, if I want to go on a long walking trip with a group or a hiking trip. See, if I choose to do those things, then I have to have my health, right? So that's why it's so important for me to have freedom of choice to do the things that I choose to do in life, even if I don't know what those may be in 10 to 20 years. I need to have my health so that when that time comes, I can do those things. The thing is that so many people walk around in a fog or a daze. They don't think about the consequences of what they're doing to their body and eating. They don't think about down the road, what do I want to do? And now, do I need health for that? We need health for everything. Of course I do. So right now can I take steps to ensure that I have the health to be able to do those things? I hear so many people talking about what they want to do in retirement. It's like everybody's waiting. One day I'll be able to do this. One day I'll be able to do that. But what are you doing to your body right now? What thoughts are you thinking that may sabotage you along the way? And you may never end up getting to do those things. So often we hear of people retiring, and when they retire, they're actually not healthy enough to do all those big things they planned. Maybe they've saved up a lot of money, and that time has now come for them to enjoy it, but they can't because they're sick. There's something that's stopping them. They've lost their independence. They don't feel well enough. They're not allowed to travel because of how they are. So you see, that is my why. That is why it's so important to me. Having that in always going around in my head is why I'm able to stay on track. So mindset is huge. So let's get started. Okay, I'm going to share a document again with you. I do these slides and come back to me, back and forth. And if you have any questions, you can type them in the chat box. And also, if you're watching this on replay, I should receive the messages you do type into the chat box, even if it's a replay. But you can also email me at Diana@rawfoodsmadesimple.com, and I'll put it in here. And I will get your email, and you can ask me any questions. So here. There, and then you can, you guys will see that, and you can email me there if you have any questions. Okay, so let's share the slides and let's get going. Share. Okay, as you can see, here we go. This is the second webinar. What to eat, think, and do to lose fat, gain energy, and live a healthy, happy life. This is webinar number 2, what to think and the importance of your mindset. And I did go on and talk about some of those things that are very important and why having the right mindset and really getting your mindset under control can really ensure that you are able to do all the things you want to do in life and feel good now, right? Do the things that you want to do now. I mean, if you're not healthy, you're thinking, how are you going to be at work? How are you going to be in your relationships? How are you going to be with your family and friends, right? Health is everything. Feeling good is everything. If any woman gets migraines, they know that when you have a migraine, it affects every aspect of everything you do. And when that migraine lifts or leaves, how fantastic you feel. And how it's like, oh my God, I just feel like I can do anything. So remember that when you, I hope I had my volume down. I hope you guys could hear me through that. Holy man. Boy, I hope you could. Okay, well, anyways, if you couldn't hear me in the first part of the webinar, so sorry, volume was down. I was talking mainly about how important mindset is, and we're going to continue talking on that through these slides anyways. So childhood, as you can see, how you eat and how you live a healthy lifestyle, of course, so much is developed by what happened to us in childhood. Right? Our habits, behaviors, patterns, triggers, emotions, and all that is so developed in childhood. So I want you to take some time and really think, how was food dealt with when you were young? Like, what was your life around food? You know, family meals. Did you not have family meals? Did your mom cook? Did she not cook? Did you have to fend for yourself? Oh, thanks. It's blurry. Oh, no. It's blurry, eh? I can hear you. It's blurry. Well, let's go back. I don't see the blurriness. On my end, sorry, Dorothy, I don't see that it's blurry on this end. Unless it has something to do with your connection or, yeah, I'm not sure. Geez, I hope it doesn't film like that the whole way, but it's totally fine what I'm seeing. So, unless you get out of it and go back into it, maybe that might help. Okay, I'm going to continue on. So with your childhood, how you were brought up, right? So what were you taught about food and about living a health? Did your parents live a healthy lifestyle? Did your parents eat healthy? So it's all this that we've been raised around that affects how we live our life now, and of course, how we live our life in the future. So that's really important. Were you overweight? And have you struggled with weight your whole life? Right? That makes a big difference. I'm just reading. Were you exposed to different kinds of foods, or were you exposed to the same old foods, same old, same old? That's going to make you think different. You're going to have limited thinking when it comes to food. Or if your mom, let's say, overcooked everything, then it's like, oh, this food is so bland and so boring. I know some women that say they don't like vegetables, but when we talk more, I realize that mom didn't ever cook vegetables well. So the vegetables were overcooked, really plain and really boring. So that makes a huge difference. Then your take on veggies, what you think is going to be, I don't want to eat them. They don't taste good. So that makes a huge, huge difference. And where are you now? So where are you now in your life? Like, I'm just going to put that slide back up. This is where you might be now. That has an effect on how you feel and how you think. You're too busy, you're too stressed, tired and exhausted, overweight, you're sick, so you have some symptoms that are real uncomfortable. Maybe you have an illness, maybe you have something that's going on. You're working really long hours. There's no breaks at work, so it's really hard for you to do anything healthy or eat healthy. You are not a good cook, and you don't like to cook. So if someone says, I hate to cook, I don't like to cook, I'm not going to cook, that makes a huge difference. Because how are you really going to get the healthy food in you unless you really stop? I'm going to stop this and change how you think about things, right? So it's kind of going back to your thoughts, how you have thought your whole time growing up, but that is your past. And so what needs to happen now to shift into a healthy lifestyle is you really have to let that all go. You have to let it all go, and you have to move forward and say, what do I want now? And what do I want in the future? How do I want to feel in the future? Because people who go back all the time and continually talk about, well, I don't do this, or I am like this in life because of my mom, because of my past, because of how I was raised. So they stay stuck in the past, and they stay stuck in story. And that will always stop you from moving forward in life. So it's really time, like I mentioned in the last video, to take responsibility to move forward in life. Now, if you need some counseling or something with some big obstacles that are in your past that you can't seem to clear, release, or get rid of, then maybe it's time you seek counseling for that, right? Because you may need that. But just in what I'm teaching and talking about today, we're talking about how to move forward and focus on moving forward. An analogy I like to think about when I'm trying to get rid of these old patterns of behaviors, of beliefs and thoughts and words that I use repetitively without even really realizing it, is I think of myself as standing on the edge of a cliff with my heels. So my back is facing the drop off, and I'm looking forward, let's say, onto a field. But my heels are actually on the edge of this cliff, the very edge of the cliff. So if I take one step backwards, I'm going to fall. I'm going to fall. And there's no end to that falling, okay? There's no water to jump into. It's just on and on and on. So every time I cannot take a step backwards, I cannot go backwards. That's impossible. There's no backwards for me. The only thing I can do is stay where I am or move forward. And that's what I think when I get into story and stop talking about this, start talking about the past or about why I can't do something, or why, well, this is why, this is what happened in my life, so now I can't, or I've never been trained to, I've never been taught to. You're going backwards. Don't go backwards. You will fall off that cliff. You will never have success, okay? You move forward. Constantly move forward. So use that image and see if that helps you at all. So we're always wanting to focus forward, no matter what's happened in our past or where we are now. It's more like, what can I do with what I've got? So if my life's like this, and that's what happens when you start using excuses, right? Saying all these things, reasons why you can't do something. What can I do? So you want to shift your can'ts. No using the word can't. As soon as you start to think it right away, as soon as you get that thought, as in, well, it's impossible for me. I'm too busy or I just can't. Stop, and go, what can I do? What can I do? And even if you don't know the answer right away, just by asking that question, being open to receiving an answer, you usually do get the answer. Even ask for it. Ask God, ask the divine. What can I do? Please give me a suggestion. Give me answers. Help me have faith. Help me move forward in life. All of those things. And do a heck of a lot better than focusing on the past and why you can't do something. Okay, so our next slide here is, oops, just gotta move this. There we go, power of thoughts. Oops, it's a little high. Let me bring that down for you guys. There we go, power of thoughts. So kind of what I was just talking about, your thoughts are so powerful. They are energy and they affect you at a cellular level. So whatever you're thinking and saying to yourself is going to affect how things end up. So when you think about eating clean and exercising, what do you really think? What are your thoughts that come into mind when you think about, okay, I really need to change. I'm going to get healthy. I'm going to start exercising. I'm going to eat better. What are the first things that just jump into your head? Are they, oh, that's just such a drag. I don't want to. Or, oh, it's going to be so hard. This is just not going to work for me. I tried before and I failed. I'm so sick of doing this. Why does everybody else get to eat and do whatever they want? And I have to be so strict and I have to eat like this. So if those thoughts enter your mind, then you know why you're still stuck. Then you know why you're not moving forward. Then you know why you continue to fail at it. Because you're using those words and those thoughts continually over and over again. So that is what you need to switch and shut off. But you don't really get to shut them off. You actually change them because you can't think more than one thought at the same time. So if you're thinking all the reasons why you can't have a healthy lifestyle, then you will not be thinking of thoughts why you can. So you need to right away, like I said, shift it to what can I do? Well, I can take one step at a time. I can begin to read labels. I can make healthier choices for breakfast, or I can have one smoothie a day. Even that, just one smoothie a day will make a huge difference. So all these little things you can begin to do, right? Okay. How do you feel? And what I'm talking about here is not necessarily physical. I'm talking about how are your emotions? So when you think about living a healthier life, getting healthy, exercising, eating better, what emotion comes up inside you? Is it panic? Is it resistance? Resistance is a killer for any type of positive motion you want to do. So if you're feeling restricted, resistance, like somebody's telling you what to do and you don't want to do it, you become this like 10-year-old child again. You feel like kicking your feet up in the air, laying on your back and crying because you really don't want to do it. Or are you feeling happy, excited, great, positive, energetic? Or again, deprivation, hard, complicated, like it's sacrifice. So that is the key, right? That is the key to people who succeed and people who do not succeed. It's because of how they feel emotionally when they go to do something or when they think about doing something. And so there's two phases. So me, I think of healthy eating as feeling good, as helping with me, my freedom, my value of freedom is allowing me to be free to make choices. It's allowing me to feel good. It's allowing me to look better. It's allowing me to do tons of things I want to do in life. That's how I look at healthy eating and living. Right? So if you're somebody who thinks of it as deprivation, hard, struggle, frustrating, then can you see the disconnect? Can you see why you're not able to lead a healthy, happy lifestyle? So your thoughts are highly important. So we need to start focusing on what your thoughts are. If you're feeling restricted, constricted, you need to switch that over and begin to feeling happy, healthy, freedom. So how are you going to do that? We're going to talk about that in it's coming up in the slides, on the important things of how you switch that over. Okay, so our next one that we're talking about is, this is another aspect of your thoughts. What do you think about how you look? What are you thinking when you are eating? Is it negative or is it positive? What do you think about healthy food? Is it good or yummy, or is it yuck, boring, and bland? So again, we're focusing on where you are now. What are your thoughts right now? How do you think? How do you feel about this whole area, healthy eating and living? Because it makes a huge difference. Also, if you're beating yourself up, if you're thinking that, and that brings me on to our next slide. If your self-talk is that you don't feel good about yourself, that you don't like your body, so you're calling your body different names. It could be, I'm too fat, I'm too lazy, I'm never going to get this right, I don't like the way I look, I might as well give up, I'm too old to make changes. Anything like that. And I just see someone typed in, time management for food prep is hard. So again, you got to watch your words. Really have to watch your words, because when you believe something is hard, it is going to be hard for you. Now, are there some ways you need to switch things around so that you do have more time to food prep? Yes. Yes, that needs to be done. Just by deciding it's going to be easy doesn't make it easy. But when you decide to have a choice, when you decide to give yourself a choice, that food prep is I'm going to make time for it. It's going to be enjoyable for me. I'm going to stop this because this is a very important point here. You know, what we talk to a lot of people say, I'm too tired, I'm too stressed, I'm too busy, I don't have enough time. So by continuing to think those things, believe in those things, and saying those things, it's going to make them so. Because what you think and what you say, what you focus on is your reality. It becomes your reality. But I want you to think about, what things do you find time for? What things do you absolutely always find time for? If you're somebody who watches TV every night, then you always find time to have TV on. So your commitment is to watching TV. So but you don't have time to prepare healthy food, then you are not committed to preparing healthy food. So you need to switch what you're committed to. So if you want to live a healthy, happy lifestyle, then you need to commit yourself to doing things that are going to bring that about. And yes, that may mean looking at what you're doing now in life, looking at your schedule, looking at everything that takes up time, and saying, what can I let go of? And what can what do I need to put in? Which is time to prepare healthy food, time to shop. These things are crucial. If you don't make time for them, they're not going to happen. So you really have to make time for them. So you need to look at what you can move around, what you can let go of. And it sounds like, I know you're going to think, well, that means I'll be busy every single second of every day. That's not true, because we usually waste time. We just don't think we are wasting time. We don't have the conscious feeling of wasting time. Okay. If you feel you're too tired, right? Then of course, if you don't make time to eat healthy food or do healthy things you are going to be tired. So really, if having more energy is what you want, then it is very important for you to find time to prepare healthy food. It is very important for you to find time to go shopping, to do things. So at a stage where you feel you're too busy, you're too tired, you don't have much time, then that's a call to change things up. That means you have to make changes in your life, even if it means letting go of some things that you don't think you can at the moment, you don't think is possible. It has to become possible, right? Because you're not going to get better. So the thing is that all of a sudden time's not magically going to appear. All of a sudden, no one's going to walk into your house and make you meals unless you can afford to hire someone to make your meals. Highly suggest you do, if you do have any bit of money, right? We do spend money on funny things. Some people do, and they don't even realize that doesn't contribute to their health at all. So why not spend money on things that contribute to your health and do you good and help you out? So maybe you can hire someone. Maybe you can hire someone to do some things for you that would spare up time so that you could do these types of things. Look in your life. Or there's some things maybe you're doing for other people that you don't need to do anymore. I know sometimes mothers take on a lot, even with their adolescents or older children. They still drive them here and there. They still do a lot for them. When it's really time for their children or their spouse or other people in their life to start doing those things on their own, women, we feel we got to do everything for everybody. And that doesn't serve you. And it really doesn't help them. It only enables others. They don't learn to do it themselves. And then just that whole thing is repeated over and over again, right? They end up burning themselves out and on and on. So you don't want to burn yourself out. You need to say no to some things in your life. You need to say yes to the things in your life that are going to lead you to health and happiness, if that's truly what you want. And really, it should be what you want, because everything else in life depends on it. If you love your career, if you're not healthy, you're not going to be able to continue on with that career, or you're going to be sick so much, your employer, or you're going to be too tired, you're not going to be able to get your work done, right? So this is how important all of this is. So you need to stop the stories, stop the excuses. What can you do? Move things around, shake things up if they need to. Don't be afraid to. When you're healthier and happier, it's going to affect everything in such a positive way. You're going to wonder why you didn't start it earlier. So it requires shifting. So again, this is a little bit, my next slide is kind of what I talked about already. It's about, what are you saying to yourself? Are you saying, I'm always too tired? Here, I'll put up the slide. And I'm not saying that because you are too tired. So I'm not saying you're not tired, you're not stressed, you're not all these things. I believe that you are. But then you really need to realize that something has to change. Nothing's going to change if you don't change, right? So if you're not happy with one aspect of your life or some aspects of your life, it really means you need to shift things around. At a time when you say that to yourself, it may seem, oh my God, I don't know how I'm going to do it. And it is impossible. Nothing is impossible. It is possible. Start to believe it's possible. Have faith. Ask for guidance. Maybe tell your family, tell your spouse, I need help with this. I'm burning out. I believe health is important. If we want to have a good relationship, if we want to have a good retirement, if we want to live a happy, healthy life in the future, we need to come together and we need to decide what we can do, because I'm burning out, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I'm not feeling well. So really it's about taking yourself, believing how important you are, and doing things that are going to help you feel better. And that means making some changes, right? Okay. So again, what you focus on creates reality. So by you saying all these things, or thinking, and worse, believing all of these things, they become so. So instead of I am so tired, you'd be like, I'm finding ways to get more rest, eat better so I gain my energy back. I'm so stressed. I'm letting go of things that don't serve me in life anymore. I'm rearranging my schedule so that I can have time to relax. And instead of it's impossible, you're saying things like, I am taking steps to make blank blank possible in my life. Whatever that thing is that you feel is impossible. I'm taking steps now. So it doesn't mean you don't have to say, I'm got it all under control and everything's 100% perfect. It's just starting with little steps. I am looking at how I can make this possible in my life. What can I do to be able to have time to do this? Same with it's too hard. Say, you do not want to say it's too hard. You want to say, I'm taking steps to learn how to more effectively do this, or I'm taking steps to learn, or I'm excited to learn how to do this, or I'm excited that I am taking steps so that I am able to have prep time in my day. Things like that. Really just get the language in control. Language is so much. Focus. Where is your focus? And this is a big thing, of course, of course. What is really important to you? What results do you want? What does a successful person focus on? Now, we talked a little bit about this. Have you shut down or shut off? And do you feel resistance? So these are some things to think about when you feel like so much isn't possible, right? You want to think about these things. Okay. Again, so it's like, what is really important to you? And we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. And that's kind of what I've been talking about. If being healthy, feeling good, having more energy, maybe you're someone who wants to lose weight, whatever it is, if you're not happy with that aspect of your life, but you really want to change it, then it's important to you. So you're looking at, okay, what's really important to me is I need more energy. So I need to do things that bring me more energy. So what can I do now? What can I do today? What can I start to do? And start making lists. Don't let your head go to, oh my God, I'm not going to find time for that. I can't do this. I can't do that. Let go of all that and just make a list of what you can do. Whole bunch of things. Don't let your head take over. Start making a list and just all the things you can do, all the things that is possible for you to do. Just write it down. What results do you want? Do you really know the results you want? Right? Do you really know? So if you want to lose weight, how many pounds do you want to lose? How many dress sizes? How many pant sizes? Anything like that. What do you want? Get to really know what you want. Or is it, I want more time to be able to spend time prepping food or cooking food, right? So that would be a want to. What do you want? Write all those things down. And then, like we talked about before, what does a successful person focus on? So like we mentioned, a successful person wouldn't look at that list and go, oh, it's impossible, forget it, I give up. No, because they would not be successful. A successful person would look at that list that you wrote down of all the things you want, and they would say, okay, how can I do them? I'm going to do it. Either I need to get help to do it, or I need to hire someone, or I need to get my family involved, or I need to get my spouse involved, and I need to rearrange my schedule. I need to think positive all the time. I need to change my thoughts. I need to get more clarity on what I want. I need to get help with direction. I need to hire someone who could tell me what to do and show me the steps. All of those things, it's what can I do? What can I do? That is always how a successful person thinks. And if you are feeling the resistance, then it's time to really get kind of clear on what resistance are you feeling. So is it, you can't make me? No, I'm not going to do it. Then right then you should know, that's my child thinking. What happened in childhood that made me act like that when someone tells me I need to do something, or when I'm about to do something in life that I think it would be hard? It's like being a child. You lay on your back, you kick your legs up, and you scream. But you can't do that anymore. So as an adult, you just do something different, which is avoidance, procrastination, going into story about why you can't do it, making excuses of all the reasons why you can't do it. So that is just an adult version of laying on your back, kicking up your legs, and crying. So really be aware that when you do those things, it's just this inner child that is wanting to come out and expressing itself. So you be aware, you forgive it, you don't resist it, you feel it, and you work through it. And eventually you realize, oh my God, that's not real. That's not me as an adult. That's me as a child. Why do I have such resistance? And then you have to learn kind of techniques to learn to release the resistance. And we're going to talk about things in the next webinar on what to do, on the things you can do. Okay. And here we are on our next slide. Now, finding your why, which is an extremely important thing to do when you are looking at changing something and you want the change to be for good. You don't want to you don't want to keep trying to do it over and over again. It's like smoking, right? You think you're going to quit smoking and then you fail and then you keep trying again and you keep trying again and keep trying again. Same with weight loss. It's usually because you have not dealt with effectively with clearing, letting go, or bringing consciousness to what keeps stopping you. So in my future programs that I'm going to be doing with women, that is really what I want to get to. I really want to do a lot more work on mind work with women because I can tell them what to eat. You know, I can tell you what to eat and give you the recipes and give you the meal plans. But there still is, when you still have all this mind stuff in the background, then that's going to get in the way of you continuing being successful or continuing on after the program's over. You'll know if you've gone to any professional development seminars or if you've done a diet or something in the past, you know, when the time's over and you're left just to you, it's kind of like, oh, wow, like you just tend to fall back into habits, patterns, behaviors, because you go back to your old way of thinking. You haven't cleared, you haven't changed anything. And you just go right. You haven't learned any tools and techniques that'll help you when you hit that resistance again. And it does hit you. It hits you all the time. Hits me. No one is perfect. It hits you throughout your whole life. It never stops. This resistance keep coming up, but you just need to have these techniques and tools to release them, to let them go. So that is really what my main focus is going to be on in the future, along with the food. Just taking a second to tell you guys, I'm really shifting. In the future, I'm going to have a new website. I'm going to let go of Raw Foods Made Simple. It's going to be dianamarchand.com, and I'm going to be doing some coaching in quite a bit of a different way, but in, I think, a way that is going to be a much more, give you a lot more results and lasting results. It's something I truly believe in. I'm becoming a transformational coach and getting certified and all that. So I'm really learning what can make this big, huge difference in your life. So let's go through this again. Your why is based on two of these core elements, core values and desires. And I know you've heard me talk about these before. Extremely important. So you need to know your core values and also, like we talked about, desires. What do you really want? So as I mentioned before, my core values are health, freedom, and joy. And so freedom really is my number one, but it also goes pretty much tied with health, because without my health, I don't have freedom. So I see them as pretty much tied. So everything that I think of or do, or any decision I make in life about what to eat, what to do, anything, it has to be alignment with those. It has to be in line with my value of freedom and with health. Now, does that mean of course I make unhealthy choices sometimes, but it's a smaller percentage of time. So, I mean, if I eat things that are not great for me, of course, but I know that it's just small amounts of time. And I know that most of the time I eat things that are really good for me. Most of the times I do things that are really good for my body. Sometimes I don't, but most of the time I do, because I know that I need to, that those things must be done for me to live a life that I choose to live. So if you're unhappy with some aspect of your life, then you either make the change, you either begin to work towards making a change, right? You don't need to do it all at once. And that requires some mindset work. That's what I'm really going to focus on. It's not impossible. It's never too late. You're not too old. If you're feeling also tired, frustrated, overwhelmed, stressed, it could be the perimenopause part that we talked about in webinar number 1. Or it could be that there's aspects of your life that you're not happy with, but you're pushing down, you're suppressing, you're ignoring them, you're believing they don't need to be changed. You'll just put up with them. So if you're thinking, I'm just putting up with this because there's nothing else I can do, or it is what it is, there's nothing I can do, I have a good life, so there's no reason for me to be unhappy, right? So sometimes, like for me, when I went to, the whole time I was being raised and as a young adult, I was always unhappy with my life. I was always unhappy with my life. But I was also always focused on what I didn't like about my life. Always, always, always. And felt it was impossible for me to do anything that would lead me to where I wanted to be in life. Now, that had to do with some of the things my mom used to continually tell me, and family and friends, and squash my dreams and my hopes. But also, it was the way I kept my thoughts. And for me, I always knew and always wanted to live in a warm tropical place. Do I now? No. And that's what I'm working towards in life. But, and I also didn't want to have an office job. I was unhappy having an office job. I wanted to do exactly what I'm doing now, help women make change in their life. But I never believed it was possible. So I always felt unhappy, never satisfied, always a little grumpy, tired, like apathetic, didn't really care, because I thought what I wanted was impossible, because I didn't think I could do it. But of course, now you see, I'm doing what I love to do in life. I'm living in the warmest place in Canada. I'm working on moving to a hot, warm climate every winter. That's my dream. That's what I'm working on. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. You just believe that it's impossible, and that's what keeps you stuck. Okay? So get your core values. What are your core values? What are things in your life that are extremely important to you? Make sure those things are front and center in your life, and that when you make decisions, you're making decisions in alignment with them. So I hope health is one for everybody. If health, family, relationships, let's say, are very important to you, well, health means you must have time to prepare healthy foods. You must have time to do the shopping, or you hire someone to do that, or you get your family involved in doing that. But don't think of that as bad, right? So this is what I want to do, because health is so important to me. So I'm happy to make time to do this. I'm happy that I choose to live a healthy life. I'm really happy and grateful that I have a healthy body right now, that I can choose to keep it healthy now and in the future. What steps do I need to take? I'm starting them now. And then you look at what's not working in your life and start to drop those, because they're not working anymore. Desires is a big thing nowadays. They're talking about what do you really desire. It's a lot to do with what you want, but it's also, it can be bigger than what you want. Sometimes what we want is small, because we think what we can't really have our true desire. Example, for me, my true desire is to live in a warm tropical place in the winter. I cannot tell you how many years I believed that was absolutely impossible for me, until 2 years ago, maybe, I finally believed, actually less, a year and a half ago, that it was possible. I waited to believe is what really happened, because it was probably possible for me way before that. So that's the thing. My wants were always smaller, because they were only what I thought was possible. Desires and your dreams can be big. They can be things that you have no idea how you're going to do. You're not sure how you're going to do them, but oh my God, if only I could do that, I would so do it. That is so fantastic. Keep that alive, because that's your desire. And it is possible. It's possible to some aspect to do it, and to at least get started, right? To get started on it, to have faith that it can come true. Now we see with this internet age, with the web, anything is possible. It's just our beliefs, what others tell us, the people we hang around with, that choose to continually tell us and keep us small that it's not possible, but really it is possible. And that is why I'm so passionate about helping women. That's what I'm going to help women with in the future in my programs, is getting where you want to be in the second part of your life. Where do you want to do now? How are you going to get there? It's possible. Let's work towards it. So we have a little bit to cover, but what I want to say is everybody who's watching this webinar live and everybody who's watching this webinar in replay, you can have a free session with me. All you have to do is email me at diana@rawfoodsmadesimple.com, and we will get on the phone or Skype, and I will have a session with you. And it can do with the foods, it can do with your belief systems, it can do with how you're going to accomplish something in life. Anything you want to discuss for 1 hour, I'm here for you. So that's what I'm going to do for all of you who have watched this video. Okay, so let's get to the last part of this video. And what do we got here? Make a choice and make a commitment to you. That's all. That's all I have to say about that. So it's about making a choice. It's deciding what you want. It's saying yes. It's saying I can do it. Now, how can I do it? And if that's what you want to talk about in the call, when we set up a call, that's what we can talk about. If you just have no idea how you're going to make something work in your life and you just need help with that, that can be what we talk about. It can be about anything. So I hope you've enjoyed the webinar. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for listening. And as you know, I'm taking some different shifts in my life, and I'm glad that you've been here and supporting me the whole way. It means so much to me. And I would love to hear any comments that you have, because I love to continually improve myself. So if there's something more in this webinar you wish I would have covered, something you want me to cover in the future, another topic completely different that you want me to cover in another webinar, please email me, Diana@rawfoodsmadesimple.com, and I will do that. Thank you so much for listening and being here. And like I said, you can type any questions you have into the chat box, or also send your questions to me at Diana@rawfoodsmadesimple.com. I have more training videos up on my YouTube channel, Diana Marchand, so you can check those out too. Okay, take care. Tomorrow's webinar, Sunday, is on what to do. So the action, we're going to pull everything together we talked about in the first two webinars, pull it all together in tomorrow's webinar for the third webinar. Hope to see you there. Thank you so much again for joining me. Bye-bye.